I was guided this month. We're going to spend an entire month talking about love. And when I first got that from Spirit, I went, really? That's an interesting thing to talk about love for a month. I can't wait to see how that comes down. But love is the most talked about energy in our world and the least understood. We talk about love all the time, loving one another. I love you, you love me, love the dog, love this, love that. But we really don't understand what love is. And they were showing me in meditation that for most of us in our world, this is how we look at love. We see ourselves as an interesting puzzle piece, you know, all the various little edges. And then when we find another piece that fits those edges, we connect. And we go, oh, that must be love. Because we found someone or something that matches the edges of our puzzle piece. But that is not love. That's simply connection. And the reality is, love is an energy of motion. It's full. It's measurable. That's why when we connect with someone that matches ours, we fit together like a puzzle. When all of this stuff starts to happen and the inner energy starts to move, there's oftentimes a lot of problems because the two puzzle pieces are not actually the same color. They're not actually the same design. And they don't have the love to allow the merging to occur. So just think with me for a moment, be with me. I remember when Patrick and I were young in our relationship, and I would get tired. You know, sometimes you just get tired. And we'd be sitting on the couch watching TV, and I'd curl up, and I'd grab his arm and put it over my shoulder, and I'd say, tell me you love me. And he'd say, I love you. And I'd say, I don't feel it. And I'd just curl up, and I'd just stay there, and I started saying, I did this once. I said, okay, send me love, because I need to feel it right now. I'm tired. I need to feel your love. He shut his eyes. You know, he's a guy, he was like, really? This isn't enough? I've got my arm around you? No. He shut his eyes and he took a breath. And I felt this wave of the most luscious, comforting cloud come over me. It was full. And it just came over me like a big blanket. And I said, oh, you're doing it, honey. That's fabulous. And I don't know that he'd ever consciously done that before. But he understood, and he felt it. And since then, I need your love. He knows, okay. Sending this beautiful substance that can be measured. You can feel it. It's real. And when it comes into the field of the receiver, it permeates. It doesn't just kind of hang. It's not like a reassurance, don't worry, I love you. It's like a merging of energy. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Yes. Do you realize that you often don't give that when you say you love someone? Often you just make sure your puzzle pieces are connected. Oh yeah, I love you, remember? I'm connected, I'm right here. Instead of this merging energy. I wanted to start with scripture from the Aquarium. This is chapter 23 when Jesus was a little boy learning about love for healing. Because our topic today is about how love heals. But we needed to know what love was first. This is chapter 23, and Yudraka has been teaching this young boy, he's like 13, 14, about healing. And Yudraka says, there is no universal balm for those who walk in the common ways of life. 1,000 things make inharmonious and make man sick. And 1,000 things may tune the harpsichord and put it back into balance. That which is medicine for one is poison for another. So one is healed by what would kill another. A herb may heal one, a drink of water may restore health to one. The virtue from the hand or breath may heal 1,000 more. But love is queen. Thought, reinforced by love, is God's greatest sovereign balm. Love is that aspect that can heal everything. Love directed by thought. Send me your love. I am sending you my love. Love directed by thought. In our world, when we think about loving one another, we take on this sense of responsibility. We do it for one another as friends. We do it for one another as relationship. We do it for children. And that is, if I love you, I need to have your answers. You think you don't, but you do. If I love you, and if a loved one comes to you and says, oh, I'm having this situation or that situation, you think, oh, okay, all right. Okay, I must have their answers now. What can I tell them to guide them, direct them, and help them? And you buck up, and now this great responsibility comes upon you. And then you get tired of loving them. I am tired of having your answers. You are a burden to me. You see? We think we have to be right, we have to be the guide, we have to do all these things when we love. And remember, if we are doing that, what are we focusing on? How the puzzle pieces fit at the edges. Instead of when someone comes to us as a loved one and they bring an issue or a question, we just simply love them. Send them. Love them. Different way to interact, isn't it? This is what I was guided when I was meditating. Love is the answer. We don't have to be right. We don't have to guide. We simply have to love. Anytime you send energy of love to anyone, it will help them in their path. It is food for them. So, when we look at the life of Jesus Christ, the entire story of his life is about healing love. He healed with love. Everyone. And think about every story that you're familiar with when people came to him for healing. Did he take inventory? Did he say, now, why did you create this? Did he say, I don't know if you deserve this? Or did he simply say, you have come, therefore they are receptive, receive. You have come, receive. There was no judgment, there was no assessment, there was nothing that kept love from moving from his body to the recipient. He accepted his brother man, and he accepted their plan. And I wanted to share another quick story with you about Jesus. This is before he begins his ministry with his own people. He is at a healing fount in Persepolis. This is a place where everybody has been waiting for the mighty one, this God they worship, to come and stir the waters. And the first few that go in when the waters are stirred are healed. And that's what their multitudes are around this pool waiting for the waters to be stirred. And Jesus comes upon the pool. And he says, behold, the spring of life. These waters that will fail are honored as the special blessing of your God. Where do healing virtues come from? Why is your God so partial with his gifts? Why does he bless this spring today and then tomorrow take his blessings away? A deity of power could fill these waters with the healing virtue every single day. Hear me, you sick. The virtue of this fount is not a special gift from God. Faith is the healing power of every drop of the water of this spring. And he who believes with all his heart will be made whole by washing in this fount. And he may wash at any time. Let everyone who has this faith in God and in himself plunge in these waters and wash. And those that were nearby got in. And they were healed. And then there was a rush. Then there was a rush, for all the people were inspired with faith. Not everyone had faith, but now we're seeing it. Now we're all inspired with faith, rushing to get into the water. And Jesus saw a little child, a little girl. She was weak and helpless, and she was sitting all alone beyond the crowd. And there was no one to help her. So he went to her, and he said, my little one, why do you sit and wait? Why not rise and hasten to the fount and wash and be made well? And the child said, I need not haste. The blessings of my Father in the sky are never measured in tiny cups, and they never fail. Their virtues are the same forevermore. When these whose faith is weak must haste to wash for fear their faith will fail. For fear their faith will fail. When they are finished, and they have been cured, the waters will be just as powerful for me. Then I can go and stay a long, long time within the blessed waters of this spring. And Jesus said, behold a master soul. She came to earth to teach men the power of faith. He lifted her up and said, why wait? The very air we breathe is filled with the healing balm of life. Breathe it in And she did, and she was well. And the people marveled much at what they heard and saw. And they said, this man must surely be the God of health, made flesh. And he said, the fount of life is not a little pool. It is as wide as are the spaces of the heavens. The waters of the fount are love, the potency, faith. He who plunges deep into the living springs may wash away everything, be made whole and free. The waters of the healing are everywhere. The waters of love are everywhere. Love is everywhere. Love is everywhere around us. And yet, how often do we go within our heart and feel unloved? Unloved for self, unloved for our journey, unloved in relationships, unloved. Yet love is everywhere, it's all around us. And the key, faith. I think in their day and time, faith was so important because faith, the definition, is the substance of things not seen. Substance of things not seen. In our day and time, we can feel love. We've seen miracles. We walk knowing the power of God. We should have that key at the ready at all times, that beautiful faith to lock into that love that we need. In the text it said that thought is directing love. Thought directing love sends the power. That love is everywhere present. We lock in with the faith. We direct it with our thoughts. So we're using our thoughts to grab the substance and to send it where we need. The healing substance clears everything and heals everything of the human spirit. It heals our thoughts, the cells of our body, the situations we find ourselves in. Love heals. Love heals everything. It restores to balance. When we truly love someone, we are not content to hit the edges. When we truly love someone, we seek the oneness. We seek that oneness. When you think about your relationship with God, how many of us still seek just to connect at the edges? I just want to connect with you, God. I just want you to fit in my puzzle piece so I can feel you. Just to feel you on the edges. Or do we really ask that the love of God move into us so we can go into that space of oneness, where it's rich and full? Think about it. Healing occurs when love becomes a part of us, and opening to receive is the key. When I was preparing for the service earlier in the week, I was just feeling guidance from Spirit, and I was being shown that there is one thing on the planet that will keep you from healing love, and that is fear. Fear keeps the love from you. Fear keeps you from extending love to another. Fear keeps love from moving into your body, and fear keeps you from extending your healing love to another. Do you see? I was, Patrick and I and Cheryl were teaching our healing class. We're in week 5, I think. And a couple of weeks ago, the class was doing what's called a PSI scan. They work in teams of 2. And one of them guides the healer. And the healer goes to someone in the distance, off-site, that they do not know. And they scan the body. They scan all the systems of the body while the guide is writing down the notes. Then they send healing light to flood the body with healing light. And they're touching this person, spirit to spirit, soul to soul. And I was on the periphery just watching all the teams working. And I was so filled with awe. The room was so filled with love. And these girls, they're all female, were so lovingly doing their work. There was no ego, and there was no fear. And I could feel the energy of all the beings they were touching, all the people that were receiving the healing. And I sat on the edge of this beautiful light, and I was so proud of them. And I thought, if we only knew as a people how powerful love is, oh my goodness, there would be huge industries where people just did healing for one another. The room was so full and the girls were so pure. There was no fear. There was no ego. There was nothing blocking any of them. And that's the space that we want to learn to live in. That's the space where we can truly feel and allow that depth to move through us.